This video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Beth Ashworth. And if you want to get your name in the jar of names, all you have to do is keep commenting on these videos. It's been 6 months, and I still have no logos, no banners, and no thumbnails for this channel. But that's about to change. But I do want them to have some specific features first. I want them to withstand enormous friction without heating up or wearing out, a useful feature. I want them to be able to disappear as completely as I do sometimes, and I want them to stretch as far as possible while still retaining its shape. I want them to be virtually indestructible, yet I want them to breathe like Egyptian cotton. Anyway, here's my ideas for my new artwork. So the whole reason behind this video was because the original logo I created for my JD262 account, that was something I was very proud of, but the final product didn't actually portray what I wanted it to portray. How I created the logo was I used shadows to create the logo. However, after I edited it on the computer and after a lot of trial and error, I found out that the one that I liked lost all of its identity as a shadow, so it didn't really portray the fact that it was a shadow, which I was really gutted about, and I wished I made a video about it to show that it was a shadow, just so that it's like an inside thing that people know. And that sort of sparked this video. But back to the first logo I created. This was simply like a template or a stencil which I hung from the ceiling, and then I used a bright light to make a shadow which was bigger on the wall behind it, and then I took a picture of the whole sort of scene. However, there was some problems with this. Because the D had a part in the middle, I had to use tape to sellotape it into position. However, the tape wasn't quite transparent. It was a little bit more translucent than what I wanted, so you could see the tape on the shadow behind it, which I feel limited the quality of the picture. So I later came to the decision to scrap version 1 and go on to version 2. This design was where I simply flipped or inverted the whole idea. Instead of having the light part of the shadow as the JD, I decided to have the shadow as JD. What I came up with was a cutout of J and D, and when the light shone on that template, it created the shadow of J and D, instead of having the negative space in between the stencil as being the actual logo. The only other downside to this one was you could see the sticks that the template was stuck to. However, I feel like this helped keep a small part of that identity as a shadow, but again, after I put it onto the computer and edited it to change the brightness to make it sure that it was bright enough and visible and bold and vibrant, it just didn't look like a shadow, which was unfortunate. However, I did like the logo, so I decided to settle with version 2. And that's the one I was using on my JD262 account for the last year or so. Another idea I had, which I still surprised didn't work very well, was I wanted to shade in an entire piece of paper, which was the same size as a logo. And then I would use a rubber to draw the JD initials onto that shaded piece of paper. So I was essentially painting with a rubber. However, it never really appeared bold enough and you couldn't really read what it said, so I decided to scrap the idea because it didn't work. But I'm still shocked that it didn't work. I'm still disappointed. But we can't stay in the past. We have to think about the future. The adventure always goes forward. So I've come up with some new ideas to mess around with for a new logo. The first idea I have was something I saw on a McDonald's advert. They used the straws from McDonald's to create the logo of McDonald's. I thought this seemed like a fun idea, so I thought I would try it. What you're seeing right now is me basically putting down straws, cut up pieces of straws to create JD. The straws I'm using right now are not the final straws that I used though. I actually found out that I had some bolder coloured straws which made the whole image pop a little bit better, so I decided to change it later. But what you're seeing right now is basically the same principle. I just used different straws later on. It was quite fiddly to try and get the curves right, but I was quite happy with it in the end. And because I have this channel now, I've also done another logo for Cup of Adventure with the same principle and same style, where I made the whole name Cup of Adventure using the straws, which were of the bold colour. I've also got a second idea that I wanted to try out. This one was where I hold a mug or a cup into the air, which could represent the Cup of Adventure, and then it would have Cup of Adventure either written on my arm, written on a piece of paper, and that piece of paper stuck on my arm, or I'll add the Cup of Adventure later on in post-production where I'm working on the computer. I don't think I'm going to be too fond of putting the text on the computer. I think that's going to look too tacky, and I'm not sure if it's very clear that it says Cup of Adventure on the written on the arm one, so I'm not sure if I like this one or not. But this is where the interactive part of this video starts. Let me know which one you like best. Do you prefer the straw logo for Cup of Adventure, or do you prefer this raising the cup as the logo. So let me know which one it is, because this is a community. We all have a say, so I'd like to hear some of your feedback so we can all make a decision together. For the banners of the channel, I wanted to try and implement the shelf that I've got behind me. Ages ago I made the shelf and I said I was going to use it for future videos, which I am still going to do, just later on in life. But I want to try and implement it into the channel art as well. So what I wanted to do is I picked 3 of the main shelves. The top one, which is dedicated to film and TV sort of figures. I've got some Star Wars things up there, some Hobbit, some Pixar, some Disney, and something I got from when I was travelling as well, which are all part of the pillars of this channel. The second one is me-made items plus things relating to the community. I've got the jar of names and the other jar, which I use in the videos. I've got Tops, the bottle top snake, which I made in a past video. I've also got my Sheep F model, and I've also got the sibling rivalry scoreboard as well. The third one is my Let's Play loot. Whenever I finish a Let's Play on my JD262 channel, I always try and get a little figure which represents the game and stick it on there as like a Let's Play trophy. I can't get one for every single game, but I try to do the main ones, so at the moment it's just Assassin's Creed and my Overlord figure as well. Now, since this channel is more related to making things and referencing films, I wanted to keep the first shelf and the second shelf because they have the most relevance to this channel. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit both of these onto the actual banner. I'm going to try and play around after I've done this. But if I can't, I'll try and focus on one or focus on the other, and I'll put the finished images onto this video. The banner for my JD262 channel, as I progress through the games that I play, the shelf will grow, so the banner will evolve as my channel evolves as well, where I get more figures as my Let's Plays finish, and it will eventually grow into something that's more populated than what it is at the moment. But I feel like this banner suits the channel as a whole. I can spend forever trying to create a perfect video thumbnail, and I never quite get there. The one that I'm making right now on the video took me 2 hours to fiddle around with. I even did some which I didn't film, and eventually I came to something that I liked, where I could have done it in 5 seconds if I knew what I wanted. But that's how you do. You just keep going until you find something that you like. The gaming thumbnails that I use for my JD262 account are usually an image of the game with the logo of that game, the episode number, and the episode title. I wasn't very happy with these. I liked them at first, but over time I've started to dislike them. So I started looking at other people's videos to see what they've done. A big inspiration of mine is Jesse Cox, who also does videos of games. He has someone that draws his images, where they put his face onto the face of the game characters and put him inside that world as the image with the logo and the episode number as well. I really like this, however I'm not that good at drawing, so I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is basically settle with just a nice image of the game with a nice big bold logo for the game. Instead of having the episode title, I'm going to take that off because I feel like that makes it look tacky. I'm just going to make the episode number bigger so that you can actually see it more than what you can at the moment. So like I said, very simple, very clean, very simplistic, very minimalist in nature, which is what I quite like. But like I said, this would have took me 5 minutes at the beginning, but this is what I like, and I'm going to settle with this. But I'm not going to start implementing these new thumbnails until I start the next Let's Plays. The thumbnails for these videos, I think, are going to be a little bit simpler for me to make. Basically, I have loads of images which I've taken whenever I was making them. I call them kit photos, so I'm just going to pick a nice one, and I'm going to make big, bold writing in probably Berlin Sans, is the text I'm going to use. I usually use that for my videos. I'm going to make the big writing up there, maybe make it some different colours that sort of go well together, and sort of colour wash the whole image to make it suit itself, and hopefully it'll all look nice, and they will all shoot the videos that I put them to. And you can see a time lapse of me making one of these thumbnails on the video right now. But there we go, that is the artwork that I'm hopefully going to try and implement onto these channels now then. I'm actually thinking of making this an annual thing. I've got loads of ideas for future artwork. So every year in January or February, I might change it up a little bit to try out these different ideas, because I never look back, darling. It distracts from the now. However, please let your voice be heard. Let me know which logos you prefer so that we can decide on which one we shall use. And remember that you can do what you want to do with this video. You can like it, you can share it, or you can show it to your friend, Edna Mod. And guest.